Fear is a powerful human emotion. Depending on the circumstances, it could either paralyze us. You've probably heard of people who are paralyzed by fear. Or it could actually protect us by stopping us from doing things that would actually be harmful to us. There are understandable fears, fears of dangerous things such as snakes or even electricity. And there are other irrational fears, fears of things that really cannot harm us. Today we're going to start a short series of videos about fear, and we're going to start by reading about a fear that is good, a fear that should regulate every other fear that we might have. Our reading is found in the Old Testament book of Proverbs, and it's chapter 9, and we'll read verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. Well, maybe the first question we should actually be asking is, what is fear? Now, for example, if you look at a dictionary, you'll maybe read a definition such as this: an unpleasant emotion caused by the threat of danger, pain, or harm. And that kind of definition suggests that fear is always a negative thing. It is unpleasant, and it comes about because we're under threat. Another word we might use is the word dread, to have a dread of something. Many people live with that view of God as an angry being who should be feared in the sense of dread, because he's looking for any excuse to find fault so that he can vent that anger indiscriminately on human beings. Their God is a petty God, small-minded and mean, and it is a caricature of God that is completely false. So whenever Solomon wrote about the fear of the Lord in this verse in Proverbs 9, this idea of dread was not what he had in mind at all. He meant fear in a purer sense, the sense of awe, respect, reverence, not because of the small-mindedness of God, but because of the greatness of God, great in power, great in holiness, great in goodness, great in mercy and grace. Whenever Moses wrote of the Lord as being merciful and gracious, slow to anger, and abundant in goodness and truth in Exodus 34 verse 6, that's the great God he had in mind. We ought to stand speechless in awe of the Almighty. In C.S. Lewis's book, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, he wrote about 4 children who were fearful of meeting the hero of the story, Aslan the lion. That fear led them to ask whether Aslan was a safe lion. The answer they got was, of course he isn't safe, but he's good. In the same way, God isn't safe. He cannot be brought under our control. He is the controller of the universe. But it's not just his power that should make us fear him. It is the fact that God is good that gives us greater reason to fear him, to stand in awe of him. It's not an irrational fear, but a sensible fear. The one who is in control of everything is in control of anything else that we might be afraid of. And so the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, because if we fear him as we should, every other fear can be put to rest.